assalamu alaikum, good morning, khushamdeed, ji ayanu khuyumorkha, pakhair raghale, ishpata, balikarayo, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Well This Morning, which is a Hashmi early in the morning on your TV screens like almost every other day. Well, it's a Monday, it's a new month, it's the 1st of March. I really hope you guys came out of a wonderful, wonderful weekend, had a great time to spend with your families as well. Well, alhamdulillah, I did. As I always keep saying that on and off, every now and then, my weekends usually do have work as well. But my family, and it was amazing. I feel like, I don't know if you guys can relate to it or not, especially after I got married, I cherish the time that I get to spend with my family so much. Probably you feel even more connected when you're not living with your family members, right? Distance does create sort of an affection or a stronger bond. That is what I have realized. Do you believe the same as well? Does this happen to you? If you're not living with your family or friends, that is when you miss them the most? Do let me know about it as well. Well, ladies and gentlemen, today the topic that I have picked up on, in fact my team has picked up on, is something so close to our heart. We have been continuously doing shows on this, yes, but whenever we come across someone with such an inspiring story and with someone with such a huge heart that they have actually dedicated their entire life towards a cause, it really makes us come to the point where we want to share the story with you. We love the journey with you to inspire a lot of people as well. So without giving it away, let me just say that unfortunately, intellectual disability is one of the things that is so prevalent among Pakistani infants, I want to say. So the latest research I could get my hands on was from 2016, which stated that about 2 babies in 100 in every live birth may be severely, intellectually disabled, and about 6 in 100 may be mildly intellectually disabled. It's a sad stat, and it's a huge number if you look at it. I mean, every day, let me try to explain it better. So if in one day 100 babies were to be born in Pakistan, 6 out of them will have an intellectual disability. If you're not shocked at the stats, I don't know what is happening with you, because you really have to, you can't have to wait for someone to be in your own children who are intellectual disability, and then with a special focus on those who are born with a hearing impairment. And I'll tell you why we're talking about that, because, well, it's nature, it's biological, it's Allah's, I want to say, qudrat as well, that if you're born without the ability to hear, then definitely you cannot speak as well. So if you have a hearing impairment, you're also mute. You may not be able to develop your speech because you don't know what you're hearing, so you might not be able to copy that or mimic that, or probably eventually be able to speak like that. So with all the children who might be born with any sort of intellectual disability or a hearing impairment, they are definitely followed by speech impairment, I want to say, or they have issues with speech as well. So these people that I have in the studio right now, it's a couple, ladies and gentlemen, and mashallah, when they got married, they were blessed with 2 beautiful daughters. And well, the mother was actually, mashallah, focused to the milestones that were being achieved by her children, by her daughters, and they were babies back then. And she realized that the babies were probably at one stage slow as compared to other babies who might be achieving the milestones well faster. So she did get the diagnosis, and she worked, day and night to actually establish this institution that I'm now going to be talking about, which now provides not only education, but also therapy, well, entrepreneurial skills for that matter, vocational training for that matter, and now a living space or a boarding school to all children who want to apply over there with any sort of intellectual disability or hearing impairment. The institution itself is called, it is actually a very, I want to say, an initiative that is really close to their heart as well, and now mine too. It is called Narjis Khatoon Health and Education Welfare, and the people behind this are actually here in the studio. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, Anika.
Assalamu alaikum.
Welcome to my show. I'm really happy to have you and to listen to your story. Now, next to Anika, we have a very, very sweet little boy who happens to be an Anika student as well, and actually belongs to the institution that we were talking about, the welfare, Narjis Khatoon Health and Education Welfare. He is none other than Muhammad Kashif. So we're going to interact with him in sign language because he has a hearing impairment. Assalamu alaikum, Kashif. Assalamu alaikum. All right. So I think Anika is going to help us all along the show while communicating with Kashif as well.
Absolutely.
Next to Kashif, we have someone who happens to be the co-founder along with Anika, the couple that I was talking about. And I think he has been a great support throughout this. Of course, when you see something happening in your family, that is what when you want to take a step and change the world and, bring good to the world. And that is what this man is doing, ladies and gentlemen, into my show. And last but not the least, we have someone who is, again, so sweet, so cute. She studies in the 8th grade and she has a hearing impairment, but now, mashallah, she's so good at picking up speech therapy so fast that she can read my lips and she can see our, sign language that we communicated, and then she can answer. She's none other than Narjis Khatun. Hello, assalamu alaikum, Narjis.
Assalamualaikum.
How are you?
I am fine.
You're fine? Very good. All right, so we're going to start with Anika over here. Anika, I did give a little introduction, all that I could. So can you please let us know when you started this, in what year? And of course, now we know the backstory, but how were you so compelled that you had to start an institution of your own?
In fact, I just sometimes feel that perhaps I didn't choose it. I was chosen to start it. Well, if Narjis was not people, I might not have thought about these people as well. But Narjis being my first baby born, and when she was born, I just got to know that nobody in the whole region of Baltistan think about these people. They were not sent to school. Even there was no concept of sending these children to schools.
Okay.
And that there was a prevalent notion that these kind of children can't read and can't write. And even like they were just considered as heavenly passed on servants. They were just given the work the other family members don't want it to do. Because they just can't hear. I just was thinking that that kind of disability these people have is sensory neural disability, because it's more about senses than that of their intellectual. They are intellectual, but whatever hampers is the sense. Like the hearing is a sense.
Right.
Okay? The way we have 5 senses and one of them is this hearing. So they need to hear to speak.
Of course.
Okay? Hearing is a receptive skill and speaking is the productive skill. So, but the major dilemma in the society was that of the social consumption. Social consumption where we call them deaf and dumb and those kind of things. We stigmatize these people. We just label them, and we just focus more on their differences. Like if they can't hear because they can't speak, so they can't say about their rights and other things. So that was like when somebody would call that, okay, like the way we used to say in Urdu, ki gung gayi hai. But nobody
doing that. You must be so angry if people did that.
No, I just would like to quote one event in the life. Like soon after her birth, I had another child. When she was 1.5 years old, I had another child. And we have a custom that the people would come to our houses to congratulate us. So my aunt came and she was telling me, I was so worried whenever I saw a deaf adult in the society in a poor life status. I was worried like my daughter is going to have this kind of life in future. That was the most concerning thing for me. So my aunt came and she was telling me that don't feel that kind of worried. You are just becoming ill. You just look like
anxious,
a sick. You look like a sick lady. So just feel comfortable. This is the God's will. She the food plate, and just it let me cry. What do you mean? She will. She's 1.5 years old. So do you think she will cook food for us?
Exactly.
Is that her future? Yeah. So what else she would do? No, I just answered them. She would be getting education and she would live a full life because that's her right. So they laugh at me that she is telling that her deaf daughter is going to get education while our normal children are not getting those kind of educations. So people started to laugh at us. That's the reality.
But
And
Anika, just listening to this, first of all, I really have to say you're mashallah so strong. And you're strong-willed as well, because it is only because of you both, mashallah, and the support you give each other that Nargis is here today. Like you said, people would believe all the wrong kind of things. Congratulations on this step, mashallah, it's growing now. It was in 2013 that you started,
Yes,
right?
we are started in 2013.
Okay.
And
And it is the only institution in Baltistan?
yeah,
Very
those time only one.
Okay.
And we are start with two childrens in my neighbor.
Yes.
And then we have, mashallah, this time 48 students we have.
Mashallah.
And in boarding units we have 32 children.
Okay.
The
So
age
that
of,
means they live with you, right?
yeah,
Okay.
the age of 4 to 12 years.
Okay, 4 to 12 years.
Yeah.
So where are they from? From different parts
Yeah,
of the country?
they different parts of Baltistan.
Okay, mainly Baltistan
Yeah,
itself.
the base of Baltistan is Skardu.
Right,
They're
right,
easy
right.
to come here, and
Right.
morning time is they are also coming in schools.
Very nice. So we'll talk about Nargis from herself. I want to listen to
Yeah.
her. But before that, if you could communicate with Kashif and let us know, first of all, how he feels being on the show, and tell him that he is the star for today. Yes, he tells me and then you can communicate with me.
He said to my name is Kashif and
Okay.
I am reading in class 6
Okay.
and I am coming here to done my paintings,
Oh, very
painting
nice.
exhibitions,
Wow.
and I am reading in schools. Oh, I'm so
He's happy to be
yeah.
here? Aw. So he paints, he's a painter, educating skills that can help them throughout life. Can you let us know what type of skills are you imparting?
We are, last year we are coming here the special education and we are, 3 children are getting mobile repairing and I think 5 girls students are getting embroidery, stitching,
Oh, wow.
and I think 4 students are doing this woodcraft work and 2 are doing getting the education of electrician.
Oh, very nice. That's really nice. Because, you know, the skills that you spoke about, that are something that they can take further in life. They can help them to probably...
I just wanted
Yes,
to add
please.
on it a little bit more. We have developed a curriculum
Okay.
where the skill development is courses are compulsory, but when they grow up, then we give options to
Okay.
develop the specialty in it. So art is one of the basic necessary curriculum because, you know, we need to have this artistic skill, art appreciation skill, because everything has to be aesthetic wherever you go.
Yes.
You know?
And it's such a good outlet of emotions as well.
It's not only an outlet of emotions. It's also give them an artistic expression because the children with hearing impairment, they are highly visual. You know,
Okay.
their
Okay.
eyes are their ears as well. You know, because when we sign, they hear
Right, right.
through their eyes.
Got it.
And they talk through their hands. So, and whenever they need to talk, they use their eyes.
Right.
So the eyes are the one of the best potential for them. So when we talk about the skills, we just have planned activities like we are developing skills to develop the entrepreneurship in skill in them, and when they will be graduating from school, there will be registered entrepreneur of the group of children. That's how we
Amazing.
have planned it.
Inshallah, inshallah.
Inshallah.
And that is, mashallah, a great news. And I'm sure that all the parents involved in this must be so happy too. Anika, I still have a lot of questions for you, but moving on to Nargis over here. You look very nice.
Yes.
Okay, so Nargis, you're in class 8th?
Yes.
Okay, what is your favorite subject?
Subject.
What do you like studying?
Bed or computer. बस.
Computer.
Maths and computer art.
Oh, maths. Maths is so hard. You must be so smart.
Yes.
It's difficult.
Oh, it's not
Easy.
difficult. Wow. Mashallah. knowledge is compensated in another way, which is why they're mashallah so bright as well, right? So Mr. Afzal and Anika, was it hard to convince parents initially that it is okay for your impaired child to receive education and come out of the house?
It was not only difficult initially, it is yet difficult.
Oh, people still are stubborn.
We had to visit in homes. They do send your children to schools.
Okay.
And we took pictures and videos of the people. Initially, when we started, we did not have any examples from the society. We just started from the crutch, and there were no conception, there was no model to show the people. So we took the stories because we moved to Karachi to educate nurses, in fact.
Okay.
When we went to Karachi and when we first entered into the deaf school, I working with hands, they are laughing, they have friends and those kind of things. They are in neat and clean clothes, they are driving cars and those kind of things. So, and we just, from there we just thought that why then the people, the deaf children and the deaf adults in our society have such a miserable life?
Exactly.
That was the question. So from there we started, we determined that we will go back to change the life of all the children of the
That's
region.
beautiful. Now, Anika, we really have to sort of wrap this segment up, so I'm just going to quickly throw all my questions at you and then you guys can answer. So Narjis here, mashallah, has a cochlear implant. So let all the people know who might need it. Is there a certain age that they can only apply for, and how should they apply for? Can they sort of contact you or your institute?
Okay, for cochlear implant, I do not have that capacity to let people introduce with, we can't provide, but government should in fact take certain steps if they have some these kind of taxes and other duties, so they should remove those kind of things so that at least it become accessible for parents.
That is true.
Because cochlear implant, my two children are with cochlear implant. The youngest one, she got cochlear implant at the age of 11 months. She has a normal speech.
Okay.
So
that was early intervention, that's why.
It's very important that it has to have an early intervention because language, it's all about language development. So language develop faster when you are young.
Yes, that is true.
You might have seen that a 3-year-old baby can't do anything but they speak like an adult. So they are very smart because that is the age when we speak language. Like even there are theories which says that language development starts even before birth.
Okay.
Till 7th month. From hearing we develop our language skills. Okay? So like at the 3 months children would recognize their name if they keep hearing. So it's very important to have an early intervention.
Okay.
We are just now planning and trying to get establish a unit in Skardu where we could diagnose the newborn babies hearing. So we are trying to get connected with some people so that we it's early diagnosis is very important for early intervention.
Yes.
And then if like we when in the case of Narjis, we got to know a bit early, like when she was 6 months old, we learned that she is with hearing impairment. But then it took more than 5 years for us to give her cochlear implant. That was again another story of struggle for us.
Absolutely.
To get. So it's here the government can take actions like
right.
And
so what would you expect from institutions to actually?
If we find organizations who are ready to help for the children to cochlear, because the cochlear implant is magical, as I told that it removes their hearing impairment.
It's a new life, right?
Yeah, it's a new life. It's a new hearing life for them in the hearing world. So if we get some organizations who are ready to help, so it's a sophisticated process. Like there are certain hospitals who do these kind of things, the cochlear implant. So we can open account of these children into those hospitals. We can talk to, there are certain companies who offer these hearing instrument, the cochlear implant we call. So in collaboration with all those kind of people, and then there are certain preliminary tests whether these children qualify for cochlear implant or not, like ECG, MRI of the cochlea and the bones and those kind of things. So we can always guide the parents help with cochlear implant. So there's those kind of supports, developing the connection among people we can do. And I just hope that together we can bring changes.
Definitely, and inshallah, we definitely will. But Anika, I have to say, it's all because of you both, mashallah, that you've come so far. And I really hope for all the people watching right now, any organizations who are willing to collab with them, please do reach out to them. Mr. Afzal, can you give out your contact details, your website or everything if people want to contact you? And is it open for anyone in Pakistan to be enrolled in your institution? Not only Baltistan, right? Anyone can come.
Anyone can come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what about the contact details? Do you have a website?
No, we have Facebook page.
Okay, with the name
Narjis
of?
Khatun Health and Education Welfare Foundation GB
Okay. Okay.
website, and we have no time to use.
Okay.
No, we have no time to use them,
Okay. Got it.
and I think that is blocked.
Yeah,
Okay.
in fact, it was like a funds because there were renewal phase, and at the time we were short of funds, so we could not
Got it.
renew it timely. Then
It's
then
okay.
we
I was
just-
asking for people to contact you, and ladies
but
and gentlemen,
Facebook page we found like more effective. Like these
People
days,
contact you?
people contact through Facebook.
yes,
so
that
is
is
a good-
perfect. Social media is a
Sorry.
platform that everyone is using. So on Facebook, if you want to, well, donate first of all, if you have any charity, or if you want to enroll someone or just get the knowledge about this, it's called Narjis Khatun Health and Education Welfare GB. This was an amazing segment, but my last question to these two beautiful flowers rather is, Kashif, and Narjis, what do you want to be in the future after you've done your education? What?
Oh yes, teacher.
What did you say?
He wanted to be a teacher in a deaf school.
Oh, that's so
And he's
sweet.
teaching
That's so
English.
heartwarming. Inshallah.
English, science.
Okay, I will teach
Yeah.
maths, English, and science.
Oh, maths, English, and science. Inshallah, inshallah, you will do that. So Kashif over here wants to be a teacher, inshallah, when he grows up. What about you, Narjis? What do you want to be?
आप बड़े बार काम क्या करें?
Aunt.
Artist?
Art.
Artist
Artist,
banegi.
yeah.
Very nice, very nice. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you, Narjis. Thank you, Kashif. And thank you, Miss Anika and Mr. Afzal as well for being here. This was very insightful, of course. But also, I think a lot of people right there, watching right now, must call someone. This was your wake-up call if you're looking for something like this as well. The only message I want you to take away from this segment is, ladies and gentlemen, do not discriminate. Do not differentiate. I mean, just leave it up to Allah for Him to differentiate if He wants to, which He does not. You don't judge, and do not marginalize people who are differently abled. I was just in conversation with Narjis over here, just interacting with her, and I feel like she's even smarter than me. So if Allah compromises one of your senses, He definitely compensates in other places. So you being a human, all you have to do is be kind to everyone around you. Right now, I'm heading to a very short break. When I come back, I will have a neurologist over here with me who will try to explain us better through scientific facts why this happens or why any sort of intellectual disability may occur in children. Stay tuned to find out. Good morning.
Magla Hills, the heaven of Islamabad. The abode of God, a place where you can explore your soul and meet power of natural elegance of mountains. The Magla
Welcome back to World This Morning, ladies and gentlemen, where I'm trying to bring you a very motivational and an inspirational Monday. So here's the thing, before going out on a short break, I told you guys that I will be in conversation with one of the best neurologists over here in the Twin Cities, and he will be answering one of my very basic questions, of course, about the occurrence and then the prevalence of, intellectual disability or mental retardation in Pakistan. So without further ado, let's just start this conversation. He happens to be the head of the neurology department in Fauji Foundation Hospital. Also, Assalamu alaikum. So to begin with, of course, let's talk about the prevalence of intellectual disability in Pakistan in infants, right?
Okay, yeah. So before going to the this one prevalence of this intellectual disability or mental retardation,
yes,
I would like to introduce that what is actually it's called intellectual disability or
what
mental retardation.
As?
It's basically defined by the American Association for Mental Retardation as a decrease in intellectual functioning. Okay. In addition to that there is a profound significant decline in adaptive functioning. I can say in simple words that if a child has some disability from the childhood or from the birth, okay, in addition to that he has difficulty in learning new things. So in the form of many domains, so that can be in the form of communication, like there's delayed speech and or academic skills, maybe reading, writing, or so all these come under the domain of this mental retardation or intellectual disability, because intellectual disability can be in the form of any one of that domains. So and this intellectual disability or mental retardation is a very broad term. So it's not a simple. It can be even in mild intellectual disability or very severe or profound intellectual disability. So we usually can categorize or divide these in according to the scale that is called the IQ scale. So and in a normal person or in normal children, the IQ scale is like more than 70. Okay. So if it's less than 70, then we grade according to that grading. If the score goes down, the intellectual disability or mental retardation will be more severe.
To find out IQ of a child.
Yeah, because you can. It depends upon whenever these usually children, whenever parent, you can detect not in like at the time of the birth, but whenever children grows up and maybe after 3, 4 year, 5 year, or whenever, for example, they come to the physician or neurophysician or a child specialist or proper physician, and they know that how to apply that test, then you can apply that test and you let and you can inform the parent that this patient has this intellectual disability. But you can apply this one even less than 18 year of age, at any time less than 18 year of age.
All right, that's fine. So do you have any, like you mentioned already, that there are, of course, definitely so many cases and may occur at different ages in the life as well. But do you have any stats on?
Don't have like a validated statistics in Pakistan, but estimated prevalence, if you see that it's 19 for mild mental retardation, it's you can say that 63 per 1,000 children. And that's very high. And if you go to the severe mental retardation, it is 19 children per 1,000 children. And
what do you think might be the cause?
There are multiple causes. You can say that if you get a lot of causes are there, we can divide into two broad categories. Like for example, it's genetic or and other are acquired causes. Genetic causes we cannot change it. Genetic, I will discuss it later on. But acquired causes are there a lot of range of causes like prenatal period. And the natal or a pregnancy-related complication period, and then postnatal period. Prenatal, there are a lot of things are there. For example, HIV, a lot of other viruses.
And prenatal can't be diagnosed. I don't think people even think about the
possibility about that, because
of
we don't have concept of mother health care, and we don't have any primary and secondary health care, and especially these are not developed in our rural area, and we have population more than 70% in rural area. So and there's no concept of screening for these infection. For example, if mother is having running low grade fever or cough or any other thing, so these are usually missed, and these are having a lot of grave side effect on the not on the mother, but also in this coming baby as well. In addition to that, nutritional deficiency, that is very important in our healthcare setup, that most of these mothers, especially in rural area who belong to the it's a low social setup. So they are usually deficient in, for example, vitamin deficiency, and infants as well. So that's why lead to the mental retardation, and that usually appear maybe after 2-3 years after birth, because these are not recognized at the time of birth. And even patient or family doesn't have concept of all these nutritional supplement and this prenatal child care.
Okay, so Dr. Saab, I was reading in one of the places where a scientist was, of course, in Pakistan researching for the very same thing, and he said that one of the very main causes of such a large population going intellectually disabled is cousin marriages. Is it true?
Yeah, it's to some extent it's very true, because this concept of cousin marriage is very prevalent in rural areas and
in this region, actually,
in this region, mostly in Pakistan, but I think in region also this concept is there of having cousin marriages. And if you are having these current marriages from generation and generation, tradition are usually remain within a family, and you can have many children in the same family having mentally retarded. So cousin marriages is one of the cause that the people are having many, even in one single family, maybe 3-4 children who are having mild mental retardation. And especially I want to say the mild mental retardation, because it is usually missed. It's not diagnosed, because usually in normal appearing child,
how can you
for
tell?
example, you can diagnose that this patient maybe is going to school, he's going to maybe he's passing the primary schools and all the things, but whenever he goes to the higher classes, he will not be having this problem. He will have decreased intellectual disability, and in the form of learning, in the form of reading, writing. So that's why, and in that age, usually we diagnose that this patient they're having a mental retardation. So that's why our most of the rural population, they are under matric. They are not, and we don't have concept of that.
But Dr. Saab, now I understand that this question may come off as naive, but one might think there must be a way to prevent it as well. So when we think about the genetic or hereditary cases, I don't think you can prevent that, but the others one can, right? So is it early diagnosis that can help us? What are the ways that we can prevent?
For genetic disease or hereditary diseases, there are a lot of ways. For example, if in one family you have children with maybe 1 or 2 children who are diagnosed that this patient, the children are having genetic diseases, or if we diagnose in Pakistan, actually it's difficult to screen children for all genetic, but I think
during pregnancy, right?
During pregnancy or maybe after pregnancy as well. But there are a few features on the basis of which we can diagnose, like if some children have dysmorphic feature like Down syndrome, you can see the abnormal appearance of the ear, eyes, face, and decrease that one favor the diagnosis of this one mental retardation or intellectual disability. In addition to that, if anything else, and you can see that many children with the same disability in the family, so I think you can counsel that family that they from the future they should avoid current marriages or they should avoid further pregnancies. This is one of the that you can prevent other children to have this one, more children, and these are the 2 ways. But if the patient has already developed this intellectual disability or genetic disease, it's difficult. But still, with good education and with good training, there are special schools, you can, I think, decrease the disability in that children to some extent, but not 100%. Like for if you train these people, like if they are like impairment in ear, or in hearing, or in a visual impairment, or anything in fingers, you can at least reduce the the level of disability in that children.
Absolutely, and I think it's all about awareness and acceptance as well. And I keep talking about this guy. He has been on the show. He's called Vamik. So Vamik was born. He was, well, of course, he had some sort of hearing impairment, and then at some point in his life, he was also compromised with his intellect. But his parents were, mashallah, educated. They sent him to get the best kind of education abroad. He had all sorts of therapies. Now, of course, he has an aid to help him here, but he speaks brilliantly, and he's now an entrepreneur, runs such a huge successful business. And in the first segment as well, we had these people from Narjis Khatun Institution, and I felt like it's all about education and awareness of the parents. How do we aware parents?
Actually, it's very and it's a very long topic to discuss. Like how can we? It's like the first of all awareness. It's the primary health care. For example, if we have like in our healthcare setup in primary healthcare, like in DHQ, THQ hospitals, if we arrange seminar for the parents in these centers, we can educate most of the parents who belong to the rural area.
Yeah.
So this is very, media can also play a role, and to have to arranging seminars. Doctor can play a role, and I think the doctor who are appointed in a rural area, and they should be encouraged to arrange a workshop or a gathering where they can arrange these the parents and
Yes, of course.
to aware that patient. Yeah.
Right, that is amazing. But Dr. Saab, now you being a part of, mashallah, such a huge institute, a very massively recognized institution as well, you must get to, well, deal with people with similar issues on a daily basis probably. So what do you think is the most common reason? We have definitely discussed, want to say, intellectual disability.
Yeah, I think in our society the most common reason that usually in intellectual disability, the problem that are related to the perinatal and prenatal and the postnatal care. That is very important, because we are seeing daily 1 or 2 children who come, parents usually come with the children maybe after 1 month or 2 months, 3 months, that they are not, they are flaccid, they have tone is decreased, or their head size is different, or head size is increasing, or they are having fits and all these things. So that's, if you go to the history, really it's very pathetic. It's like they didn't take care of whether patient has a delayed cry, or this is very important, because usually parents are not aware about the complications that are related to pregnancy, that because most of the people, they go to the small nursing home or clinics for having disabilities. So that's why in these patients during the time of the birth, that lead to the disability or mental retardation in the later coming life.
Right. Dr. Hasnain, thank you so much for all of this information. I'm pretty sure this was beneficial for all of us.
Thank you
Ladies
very
and
much.
gentlemen, right now, we have to definitely wrap up this show as well. I really hope you learned something. Write us on our social media pages to let us know, all with the name of World This Morning. I'll see you tomorrow at the same time. Take care. Allah Hafiz.
Thank you.
वो वोट इलेक्शन जो है जीत ही नहीं सकते कभी भी।